if you don't know what you want, hiring a mentor isn't going to help you.
So a question that we get asked is, when do I know is the right time to hire a mentor? And the very first thing that I want to ask you is, when did you start to feel like a mentor? And we will go into exactly your recommendation.
For sure. I think this is a great question. I think this is a question that a lot of people need to really sit down and articulate and understand first before they dive into it. And it's because, we're being consistently marketed to and told that you need to do X, Y, and Z to be successful. And it's really ironic and it's really funny because I'm a mentor, a consultant, a coach, and we obviously work with 200 amazing fitness coaches right now. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't know what you want, hiring a mentor isn't going to help you. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, because they want to make more money, they want freedom, but they actually don't know the specifics of what type of business they're going to build, what they're charging, who they want to work with, what their life will look like. And so it becomes really, really difficult, because you want this feeling, but it's like you're trying to search for somebody to help you build a house, and you're literally saying, well, I just want this house that will make me feel amazing. And the builder's going, well, what does it look like? And you're like, I'm not sure. I just want it to do this, and I want it to do, and it's a whole bunch of feelings. Because until you can get specific with what you want, how much you want to be making, what you want to be doing, what does your business look like, who are you coaching, how much are you charging, what are you offering, what are you going to be doing all day? Until you get specific with that, most fitness coaches that embark on mentorship and business coaches, they generally like to prey off this, because that's, they go, yeah, I'll make you feel great. You probably should hold off. And the reasons why I say hold off is, I feel like we live in a society where everyone wants so much instant gratification all the time, that very few people, if you're really hungry, if you want to be successful, you will be successful, because that hungry person is going to study YouTube. That hungry person is going to study Google. That hungry person is going to be consuming everything that we put down here inside of the podcast and the show. That hungry person is going to reach out and add value to, your Dan Sucklings to see what their business and his business is doing and study his business. That hungry person is going to go through all sorts of lengths, and that hungry person is going to succeed. And that person there, that person's going to succeed a lot faster with a mentor. It's just because so many people operate in their feelings, and they don't actually go, well, this is the design that I want, Kerry, and I've done research, and this is the business that I want to build, the specific design of who I want to coach, what I can help with them, that they actually can't go to a mentor or a consultant or a coach and go, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help build this? Is this something that you've done? Is this something that you've been able to replicate, duplicate? What's the success stories of people that have done this thing that I'm trying to do? What do theirs look like? And these are questions that you can only pop up once you've started to do the research. And I really think a lot of people get stung over because they don't know.
I want to emphasize that one point you just mentioned, which is, how do I replicate? And the truth is that I think you want to actually find a mentor who has built the result that you want.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I'll make it twofold, because there's the argument that says, well, you don't have to be LeBron James to be the best coach in the world. And I agree. You don't have to be a player of the sport. I think there's an advantage to having played that game and then now coaching that game, because that person that's done it understands the internal psychology, the mindset. They understand the business to consumer market is going to be a little bit different to the business to business. They understand the delivery systems. They understand everything that you're going to go through. I think the thing that you're looking for and the question that you need to ask is, number one, has this person successfully duplicated the results that I'm after to somebody else? I think that's the top question. Have they been able to produce results? And I think in our world of marketing results, before and after photos inside of your own world, how many people can fake before and after photos? Like there's Photoshop, and it used to be really good to have a before and after photo in 2012. It isn't so good now. It doesn't make you stand out because everyone's seen them and there's so many. And that's the same thing I want to bring to your attention with hiring a mentor. There are plenty of mentors that get results within a shortened period of time, aka I signed up 3 clients last week, I made $10,000. Typical thing that you see. And I go, be careful, because short-term business doesn't, or their results short-term doesn't actually mean that they're getting results long-term. And anytime that you're looking to build a business, you're looking to ask yourself this question: how are they doing now? How are they doing last month? How are they doing the month before? How are they doing in December 2017? How are they doing in 2016? How long have they worked with you, and what is the trend? Is it an upward trajectory trend, or is it like a spike? The reasons why I say that is, when we go back to trends, it's easy to catch a wave. It's easy to get lucky. It's easy to catch a wave. It's easy to launch. I think every single person here can launch. I think every single person here, if you were to do a launch, you'll do a 7-day launch, you'd pull, anywhere from $2,000 to $40,000, depending on how big your network is, how many Instagram followers, how many emails you have, who do you know, what existing clients do you have. But for then me to be able to use that one singular launch and go, Kerry's on a 7-figure run rate, she made $10,000 this week, crazy, is silly. Because what's going to happen to Kerry next week? What's going to happen to Kerry next month? What's going to happen to Kerry next year? And business is a game, if you know this, it's a game of compounding growth. Like, as long as you're growing month by month, you'll be good. And I feel in my gut that there are a lot of online coaches that have success for a week, for a month, but they're unable to carry that over month on month because they don't have the foundational principles of business down pat. And foundational principles is this: I've got a product that can solve your problem. Do you want it? Does it actually solve my problem? Am I satisfied with it? And then how do I scale this and amplify this and balance the equation of cost per acquisition with lifetime value? And I think, when you look at mentorship and business coaches and all of these things that they can offer you, I think there are a couple of questions that you need to really ask yourself to avoid falling into pitfalls. Have they been able to replicate the process themselves? Do their current clients still work with them, and are they moving forward? And the reasons why I say this is because I know tons of people use results from the past that were clients 6 months ago, that were clients a year ago, but they're no longer clients now. And that's silly. A lot of the clients that we work with and we talk about are clients that are still with us now. They haven't gone on to coach how to coach coaches to make money, etc. They've actually got a business of their own and they're delivering at a high level, which is great, and they're growing. I think these are questions that are very, very critical, but they're obvious questions, but they, in the heat of the moment when you're looking to escape the 9-to-5, you're looking to make more money, you get emotional about this, and it's easy for somebody to sell you on the dream. And let's be real, how many businesses actually make $1 million in the world? How many businesses survive? They say 96% of businesses that start fail within 10 years. So what are the chances that your business is going to survive if you're not taught the foundational principles of value reciprocity, creating value, solving problems, if you don't actually increase your skill sets and yourself as a leader, a coach? And we live in a world where the dream of Bitcoin, making money without having to evolve your skill sets, it's sold to you that it is easy, that you can do it within 30 days without being good. And I really think that there's going to be a lot of repercussion later down the track if you do that, if you buy into that. And I think you know what, Kerry? I think people know the truth, that it takes hard work, but they're sold into the hope of the lottery ticket. And that's why people buy lottery tickets, because it's that little tiny bit of hope that maybe this does work. Then this would change me and I don't have to do anything. And it's why people buy lottery tickets. It's why people buy pills and shakes. It's the same reasons why you'll buy from a business coach, where you go, maybe this will do it for me. And if you're in that boat and you're asking yourself this question, maybe this will do it, and you've got that sparkling, pull out. That's my advice. Pull the fuck out and then get yourself logically clear on what are you building, what are you investing in. Because it's a huge investment. Mentors charge anywhere from we charge $10,000 for 90 days of consulting and coaching to work with us. We're not cheap. In fact, we're the most expensive. But the fact is, we have replicated this process and we're so good at what we do. We have tons and tons of people paying us. And I know that meant other business coaches go cheaper. They go, oh, don't work with Lynn. I'm cheaper than Lynn, et cetera, et cetera. I'll charge you $1,000, $2,000. And it's like, well, yeah, because there's two sides of the equation. There's all the things that you need to do, and then it's all the reasons why you won't do it. There's all the things that you need to build, the ads, the funnels, the program, everything, right? The infrastructure, and that's cool. But we've actually mastered all the reasons why you won't do it. And this is your internal belief, your skill sets, your mindset, what happens when clients leave, what's your mindset when it comes to marketing, what's your mindset when it comes to selling, how can you break through these blockages? Because if you truly want success, you need to be a completely different person to who you are right now.
I feel like I was just a scarecrow for the last 15 minutes because you truly went on a rant just now and I didn't want to cut you off.
That was a big rant. I'm so passionate about this topic.
Of course you are. I want to summarize what you've said and just kind of put it into a container for everyone. So when you're thinking about looking at hiring a mentor, know what you want, build it on success, not on hope. And that was one of the key things that you were saying, which is if you're being sold on the instant gratification of the feeling of seeing a result and then hoping that that result could be you with a spike, don't do it. And when I asked you the question, when do you think you became a mentor? I truly believe that the definition of a mentor to me is to be able to break the mental barriers and understand the mental barriers of a mentee, say I'm a coach and you're the athlete. If I'm able to break your mental barriers of breaking through your plateaus and then being able to progress you, that to me creates me to be the best mentor, because I now truly understand you internally and not just the external strategies.
Correct.
Because there's one thing for you to understand and you know exactly what you want with your strategies, and for you to catapult that progress with a mentor.
Yeah.
Then secondary to that is underlying all of that is the mental barriers that you're going to face along the way. It is absolutely inevitable that you're going to be stepping into a very, very uncomfortable zone, doing a lot of things that you've never done before. And that mentor, the right mentor, knows exactly how to achieve that overcome for you.
For sure. Yeah. You're spot on when you say a mentor is somebody that can anticipate all the problems that you're going to have ahead. I think that's very, very important, because it's what are the internal problems that you can have, the mindset issues, what's the external problems, the marketing, the sales, the delivery issues, the infrastructure, the team that you're going to need to build. To be able to put that in stone, the mentor has to have very decent and good knowledge. I think coaching is that by definition then just it almost seems like coaching is almost like the encouragement. And I go, coaching in our, like, coaching is such a vague term that I think you and I kind of feel icky about, because there are so many coaches. I think in our terminology, we apply it to mentorship and consulting because we coach you towards an outcome. And that's the only fucking thing that matters. And a lot of people will coach, get on a coaching call, but they aren't outcome driven. And the only way that you your outcomes are whether or not you've been there before, or whether or not you can consult people and identify all of the outcomes that they're going to need to achieve. And so when you hire a coach, I'd be careful, because the coach is there, and by definition, coaching is almost, hey, I'll speak to you to help you and I overcome your problem, to make you feel good so that you take the next action. But unfortunately, most coaches don't actually know what outcomes they're looking to achieve, which then leads into this cycle of, I talk to you, Kerry, I feel good, you feel good. You feel good today? You feel good, Kerry feels good, I'm done. I've done my job until next week. And that becomes very inefficient. So you just have this cycle of people running around. I use coaching in a sense where I go, the only thing that matters is results. So by way of coaching you through an environmental condition, by way of coaching you through, if you're in the 1%, you'll come to the summit, our 2-day event this week that we're having here in San Fran. Whatever it takes to be able to get you to move, coaching you externally, internally, with people, without people, and changing up the environments to drive results. So I think that's my long answer.
Yeah, I think the topic of coaching actually makes me really passionate to rant, because I really, really get frustrated with the terminology, broadly speaking, of coaching, because I guess I'm so outcome driven that the thought of coaching as a feel-good process is so oversaturated in the marketplace. And that's kind of it's the only thing that I see that nobody actually offers a result as a coach. And they offer a feel-good, really. And it's very instant gratifying. And it frustrates the shit out of me.
We'll have Kerry rant on another episode. I think I want to add another point to that. And if your mentor doesn't actually know the outcomes that they're going to achieve with you, aka tangibility, not I'm going to make you a whole bunch of money, aka this is what we're going to work towards, this is what we're going to build, these are the deliverables. As your mentor and as your consultant, then you don't actually know what you're buying. And a lot of people buy programs and they had no idea what they were sold. They assumed that they were sold coaching, which is one-on-one connection, but you don't actually want coaching. You want the tangible, deliverable outcomes of your business infrastructure. It's kind of like if I'm going to buy a gym, I don't want a guy to tell me how to set up the gym. I want the gym space. I want the building. I want the electrical company to come in and do everything. I want the toilets installed. I want the equipment. These are the things that I'm buying. These are the tangible things. Whereas it would be very pointless for me to buy advice from a guy that's going to promise me this amazing gym but just tell me, hey, yeah, I think you should do this here and there and there. And that's what coaches are. So, the third question I would then consider is what are the tangible or the tangibilities and the outcomes and the items that you're going to receive in terms of, why do I need this? What are we going to build together? What are our outcomes? What's the result? What's step 1? What's step 2? What's step 3? What's step 4?
What's really cool is that we've just armed you to think about your outcomes that you can bring into the conversation when you're speaking with a potential mentor. That you can actually bring to the conversation of what outcomes you want, put that into your power, into your hands, rather than this mentor selling you on hope.
So next time you're on a sales call, aka strategy call, but let's call it strategy call. Ask them this: what outcomes are we going to achieve together? And watch 99% of them go, "Oh, we're going to get you clients, man. We're going to get you freedom. That's the outcome." And it's like, no. But what are we actually doing together? Can you tell me? Like, what's the key driving outcomes of marketing? What's the key driving outcomes of sales? What's the key outcomes of delivery and operations? Do you go through numbers? Do you actually even know my numbers? Like, are we going to look at numbers? What are the key, metrics that we're going to track? And I think it's just interesting I'd want to listen in on these conversations. It's just interesting to see that a lot of these business coaches are more like marketing. They're more like Facebook ads coaches. They'll show you how to get clients with Facebook ads. But understand that business is a game of marketing, sales, operations, building people, teams, finance, and the whole lot. It's not a game of marketing by itself and running ads. So I think if you ask for the outcomes, you'll be safe there.
This is another question that I used to ask as a candidate in an interview with a potential manager.
Yeah.
I would ask them, what does 6 months look like for me?
Yeah.
In 6 months' time, what does my role, what does my development look like being with you? And I think that's really important as well. As much as you're being sold, I think what you need to bring to the table is your own empowerment.
Correct. And so I think at the end of the day, here are a couple of tips. If you do your homework, you won't be burnt. I'd always ask this: do you have somebody that I can speak to? Do you have 3, 5, 10, 20, as many as you need? How many people and ask this question: have you had any clients that have left? Why'd they leave? And could I speak to them as well? Because a lot of people have clients that are left, and speaking to them is going to give you further insight. Truthfully speaking, a lot of our clients leave because they're too overwhelmed, because it's fucking hard, and there's a lot of shit that you need to do to build a business, period. Marketing, sales, delivery, operations, scaling your team, knowing your numbers, and then plus the internal shit that you're going to need to face. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. And the third thing is really figuring out the tangible outcomes. I think that's something that you need to get very clear with. What are the tangible outcomes that you're looking to build? Like if you were going to bring an architect a piece of drawing to a builder, the builder's going to know specifically what you want to build, not the feeling that you want in this house that you're imagining.
Yesterday wasn't easy. I had to say goodbye to my best friend. Thought to the end